And a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever this live stream may find you around the world. But welcome to the Easy Level Up Videocast episode number 18. We are now of legal age in the UK, so we're going to head down to the pub. Well, maybe not quite, but we are going to get a group of people together to talk all things gaming. And as the title may suggest above, we're going to be talking all things from the DC Fandome stream, an event really that happened kind of last week. Loads of things got announced from films, TV shows, and of course, some brand new video games. So we're going to be talking all things gaming, as I said. But I just want to say a huge shout out to everybody that's joining us live so far. If you have got any questions or want to say hello, make sure you pop those into chat, just as we've seen from Tashin over on Facebook. So good afternoon to you. I hope you're having an enjoyable day. But in order to talk things DC, as I said, we need to get a group of people together to talk through those things. So without further ado, I don't have the joys of Hannah with us today. She is on annual leave. So I'm going to be doing the introductional bits and pieces, and I've got to pick those descriptive words. So hopefully I'll do as good a job as Hannah does. So first up, we have the very gallant Jer Lynch. Jer, you there, mate? Hello, Jer. Oh, God. What is this? Jer, your microphone's muted. Oh, no. What's going on? I'm going to remove Jer and then bring him back in.
It's okay. I'm all right, man.
It was ruined. The whole thing was ruined, Jer.
I'm no longer in control, Tom.
You're no longer in control. Mate, how are you? You doing all right?
Sweaty, man. Sweaty. That's what that is. That's sweaty. Hello.
Hello. How'd you get those scars, Jer?
You want to know how I got these scars, Tom?
No, I think we'll leave that to another day. Another day, another time. We've had a load more people jump in as well. So hello to Daggercast over on Twitch, Dave on Facebook, and Elliot on Facebook as well. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us live. But Joe, you doing all right? You doing well?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, lovely, cracking day. Back after a bank holiday weekend, ready to go. Videocast. We're talking DC, man. I love the DC.
It's not like you're surrounded by it or anything, right?
I have waited so long for this one. This anything you'd like to do with Batman, I'm in, bro. I'm in.
Very good. But we need some more people to be able to talk about it. And so next up, we have the gracious Gregory Nichols. Hello, Greg.
Yeah.
Flashing us.
Flashing. Oh, that's inappropriate for streams nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, that's let's not talk about that court case. Hello.
But Greg, are you well? You looking forward to talking DC?
I'm ready for this. I'm ready. A lot of people think I'm Marvel, but I'm actually all of it, and can't wait to talk about the DC Fandome.
Well, there's going to be plenty to talk about, but we do need our fourth person to be able to join us to talk these things. So I'd like to welcome the radical Rhys Farrington Welsh. Hello, mate. How's it going?
Hey up. DC Fandome.
You can tell we're excited, guys. You can tell we're excited. Dave Atkins saying, "Quick, someone call Commissioner Gordon. We're out of control. We are out of control." But no, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh, do you know what, Tom? Oh
what?
Man, it's pretty warm in here. I'm hang on. I can't.
Okay. What's he got now?
Oh, better.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it's better. It's too warm, man.
Very good, mate. Very good.
How many costume reveals have you got today?
Hang on.
I am Goku.
I am Goku.
Oh dear, good times. Well, hopefully Joe won't be taking off too many more layers because Greg may be flashing us, but is Joe actually going to flash us?
It's a different kind of stream, and you need to tip me first.
Oh dear. Anyway, we are all here now. We are all, as you can probably tell, all pretty excited to talk DC. And I know the guys in chat are keen for us to talk things DC as well. But by tradition, we do some quick fire questions. And as always, our wonderful my wonderful co-host Hannah usually thinks of those up, delves deep into her brain to think of what she can be asking us. However,
does she?
It is down to me today. She has some good ones. Some of them are questionable, but I've said that to her face.
Yeah, you'll leave and you say it now.
Yeah,
everyone has. Everyone has.
So I have thought up of my own quickfire questions for today. And guys in chat, if you are watching us live, or if you're watching on demand, let us know. All of our Instagram social handles are below in our little windows, so feel free to go and follow us over on Instagram and DM us your answers if you are watching a video on demand. But the first quickfire question is, and it's going to go Greg, Reese, Jer, then me.
Okay.
First quickfire question: Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Okay, Batman. Cool. Reese?
Gotta be Batman.
Batman?
I don't know. It's a tough Batman.
And we are all in the same boat today. I would definitely pick Batman. I know there's the ever age-old question of who will win in a fight, Batman or Superman, but we're not talking
Batman's
that today.
Got a kryptonite ring in at least 3 different series. He wins.
Which timeline are we talking about now?
New 52. He's got it.
We've got Daggercast going Batman as well, so we're all in good company here. We will wait to see if we get any Supermans coming through.
We all said it wrong, by the way.
What was that?
It should have been Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
It's specifically Val Kilmer's Batman, actually.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, hang on. Whoa. We're going for the jawline and not the acting ability. Okay.
No, I want Val Kilmer's Batman.
Summer.
Reese rates as Batman on how they wear the cowl. That's it. That is it. How will their heads?
Are we going to be talking George Clooney's nipples here? I don't know.
Always.
I'm not even convinced that's where his nipples are actually located.
Oh dear. But that was our first DC related quickfire question. I've got another one coming. But to switch it to gaming, when using an Elite controller, how many paddles on the back do you use?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Are they the bigger ones or are they the smaller ones?
Bigger. I'm trying to picture them.
Everyone's holding their hands.
Yeah. Bigger ones. 2 bigger ones.
Cool.
Yeah,
On the program.
Sorry, I'm the exact same. Sorry.
How many do you use?
I'm just because I play Fight Night and I use the back panels to punch. So I use the 2 big ones.
Okay, cool. So 2 paddles for Reese as well. How about yourself, Joe?
Sorry, what?
How many do you use?
What, Tom? We use what?
On the Elite controller, Joe?
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, good question. Thanks, mate. What about you?
This is where Joe doesn't have an Elite controller.
I do have an Elite controller. I use none of the paddles, and I'm currently posting my Elite controller to Steve Nolan in Australia.
Fair enough.
He will get more out of it than I do.
Well, that's very gracious of you, Joe. It's very gracious of you.
I don't.
To go back a few, we have had Sahir say Superman fan. So Superman over Batman there. Tashin uses 2 of the paddles on the back, and also similar to us, uses the bigger paddles as well. It generally does depend on the game, but 9 times out of 10, I am using just the 2 paddles. And Lawrence, who we've had on the show a few times, scrutinizes me every single time I say that, saying I'm only getting 50% of the additional buttons, so why not use all of them?
I removed them completely from the controller.
Yeah. So it's all personal preference, but yeah, for myself as well, it is the 2 bigger paddles to be used. I think it's just easier. It's fits in the hand better. Knows exactly where it is. But guys, let us know in chat what you guys use. So, third question, but second gaming one. Would you rather play a solo game or a game in co-op?
Solo. On soloing.
How about yourself, Reese?
Yeah, I'm the same, man. Solo player, campaign mode all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, flying solo.
Flying solo.
Flying solo.
I'm sure we were talking about copyright strikes just before this stream started, Jeff.
30 seconds, mate. You have to sing it for 30 seconds and you have to be in key.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have to be in tune. I forgot about that bit. I am also more of a solo player, as much as I do enjoy multiplayer games. As
go team, eh? Go team.
Yeah, go team. So as much as we're all on the same team, we're never going to play games together.
I love you all from afar.
From afar. That's the joys of Xbox Live, mate. You can be afar and still play together. Yeah, we're all picked the single player game over the co-op or multiplayer game. But there is a reason I have asked that question, and we'll delve into that as we move through the show. So, next DC question: your favorite villain from the DC universe?
Oh man,
it can't be an obvious one though. Okay, we're removing the Joker as an obvious one. Okay, that's
he doesn't. Oddly, he doesn't even come into it for me. Right, the DC universe. I'll tell you what, it's not any of Superman's rogues gallery. Toyman. No one cares about Toyman.
Man.
I'm gonna have to go with. Oh, it's really complex. Oh, this is too hard. I'm gonna go with Hush.
Oh, that's a great shout. God damn you, that's a great shout.
Just because it's the storylines that go through it. I'm going to add a second one here because you can still think, Reese. I'm going to go for, this is controversial, there's a Batman of the Future or Batman Beyond. The Rose Gallery of Batman Beyond or Batman of the Future was pretty good. But they had the Jokers, not the Joker, but they had the Jokers. And they were all like, paled in comparison to the real Joker, but it was quite a fun aspect. But yeah, I'm going with Hush as my best DC villain.
Okay. How about yourself, Reese? We've got Dave Atkins saying it's a close tie between Lobo and Scarecrow.
Scarecrow in the comics can't be mixed up with Scarecrow in the movie. Scarecrow in the comics is wicked.
I was gonna say Scarecrow, but my favorite villain scene from any DC movie, anything I've ever seen was when Man of Steel. What's the main villain's name in Man of Steel? Got his name. Oh, I forgot the name.
Can't help you.
I forgot now. Hold on. This is the point, mate.
The Kryptonite guy.
He's gonna find
Zod.
Zod.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
We've all just failed as DC fans.
Yeah.
He's in court and he goes, "I will find him. I will find him. I will find him."
Yeah.
I've always loved that bit. And I just remember laughing in the cinema going, "That is great." He got paid to do that.
I love the fact that everyone on Krypton had an Australian accent as well.
It's great.
Because Russell Crowe decided to dial it in that day, so everyone else had to do an Australian accent.
I will find him.
I don't ever want to kneel for many people, but if Zod asks me to kneel, I'll kneel for you. You're my god, man. Oh my god.
Do the line.
I'm going for that reason only. Zod.
Good to hear, man. So, Joe, you've had plenty of time to think now.
Doomsday.
What's yours?
Doomsday was that? Okay.
DC villain, not Batman villain. DC Batman Doomsday is wicked, man.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it? Did you see how they did Doomsday on the TV show Smallville? Not so good.
No, there's lots of good Smallville TV shows that were not so good.
Yeah, that was season 8. Not so good.
Not so good. Maybe it's like the season 8 generally a TV show just aren't that good.
Yeah,
we have to get to the actual point where people actually want to see the suit at some point and then finish the season. And then they do the reveal and the whole flying by the plane. And you're like, really? That was it?
That was 10 years of my life. Okay.
Come on. Yeah, it was a point.
For me, my favorite DC villain has to be the Riddler. And I think because he plays games, it's not just like violence and just being mental. He makes you think, and I think he adds something new to that kind of world by adding in those kind of riddles as per the name. But yeah, and I think especially Jim Carrey's adaptation makes me love it even more because I love Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it was at the time, right? You gotta say perfect casting for that. That's what the riddle was.
Hasn't aged at that time.
Even today, that film is brilliant. It's great.
It's not brilliant.
It's good.
One of the worst Batman movies ever made, man.
Reese?
Stop it.
Gotcha!
Stop it.
Yeah.
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. But Fox Aperture is agreeing. Riddler for his character, but Dr. Freeze for his backstory.
You're not taking me to the cooler.
It's going to be a
Nice
cold
to meet
summer.
you. Oh dear. But no, I have one more question.
Gaming.
Which is going back to gaming. Just to speed this through, these are meant to be quick fire questions, and we always end up going through them.
Never are.
When playing games, would you rather have a surround sound system or play using headphones?
Surround sound system. Let people know what I'm doing.
That's when the police get called. Like, I heard gunshots.
Yeah, you did, and my kill death ratio is up to his age.
Oh dear.
I'm with Greg, man. Let them hear that GTA.
Let him come. I will find him.
I will find him.
Oh, good times. So, Reese, what about yourself, man?
Oh, it's got. Yeah, I agree with Greg there. Surround sound, friend.
Cool.
As the new owner of a surround sound system, absolutely. I want to hear everything in the room, not just in headphones. I want the whole estate to hear what
On the room to shake around you.
I want my house to vibrate completely. Yeah.
And we've got Dave Atkins going, Dolby Atmos 7.1 setup. Love to scare their neighbors.
I love the 7.1. I have a 5.1.
I'm actually a headset guy, as you probably couldn't have gathered with what I generally wear every single stream. I've got
They're not your
multiple.
ears?
No, yeah, these actually know my ears. These are glued to my head.
Your ears ever.
As Nigel said a couple of weeks ago, he was like, "Oh my god, I've actually seen your ears, Tom, for the first time in months." Such a weird phrase. But I'm a headphone person. I've got multiple headsets for PC, Xbox, all my games consoles. They're all surround sound 5.1, 7.1 surround sounds. So I do get that kind of directional sound as well. But I'm much more of a headset guy than I am a surround sound. Probably because I can afford headsets. I can't afford a decent surround sound system. But yeah, that's my reasoning. That is my reasoning. So yeah, that was our quick fire questions. If you haven't answered, make sure you chuck them into chat throughout the stream. So it was Batman or Superman? How many paddles do you use on your Elite controller? Do you prefer to play in solo or co-op? What's your favorite DC villain? And surround sound or headset? So if you are jumping into the stream, make sure you put those answers into chat and we'll bring them in and we will talk things all through those as we go through. But we are here for a reason, and we've discussed at length DC already, and that's exactly why we're here, to talk through the DC Fandome, as Greg likes to put it, but not necessarily about its films and the TV shows that they announced and all the new bits and pieces, but we are here to talk all things gaming. So
we're not going to talk about Rob Pattinson. Robin Pattinson.
Pattinson.
He has to be known from now on as Robin Pattinson.
I will find him.
I will
find him.
So no, we are not going to be talking films today. We are a gaming show, a gaming video cast after all. And I think it's only right that we talk about the two brand new games that got announced. But before we get into the new games, I want to know your guys. This is a bonus kind of quick fire question of what is your favorite DC related game that you've played and why? We'll do the same order, so we can go Greg first.
Easy peasy with this one. Arkham City.
Okay.
Arkham City. I'm gone for it. Would you like reasonings, or is that enough for you?
No. I'd like to know what made Arkham City the game for you.
Arkham Asylum was obviously the first one, and that kind of blew my mind. And Arkham City was, oh man, I wish it was more like GTA and it was a bit more open world. Here you go then, Greg. Have all of your
It's like they spoke to you directly.
Yeah, they did. They took my money and I was happy to give it to them. Yeah, it was kind of like GTA'd it, and then also, do you want more storyline? Yes. Do you want more backstory? Yes. Do you want other supporting characters? Yes. And I was like, and I'm happy to be involved.
No. Was that your grappling hook?
Wait,
That was
what?
not grappling hook.
I don't know what that was. Your grappling hook is broke.
Yeah, it got me there.
Oh no.
So yeah, I would say Arkham Knight, but there's a few gripes with it. But yeah, Arkham City was a great expansion on that, man. That was my thing.
What about yourself, Reese?
Easy, boys. Superman 64. For the
Oh, going old school.
no, that game was. I'm sorry.
Easy, Reese. An easy one. Superman 64.
Did you remember you had to fly through hoops? As
I
Superman?
don't even remember it existing, let alone flying through hoops. Are you sure it wasn't Sonic you were playing and you got confused?
No, it exists. It exists.
It unfortunately exists.
It
Superman,
does.
he's like blue with spiky fur, isn't he? That's the Superman, isn't it?
I don't know,
That guy.
the graphics like that at the time, I can't remember, mate. But yeah, no, on a more real one, it's probably Arkham Asylum, because similar to Greg, I really enjoyed. It blew my mind. It's like a really cool story. I'm really a big fan of the film Dread, where it's a hostile situation where you kind of got to figure out how to get out of here. That's essentially what Arkham Asylum was. It's how do we get out of this asylum alive? So that story there was suited to me.
Awesome sauce. Good to know. Good to know. Robert Pattinson. What about yourself, mate?
Pattinson. Robert Pattinson. I'm going to go similar to Reese, but I'm not going to go that far back. 2006 Superman Returns, the game. Because Brandon Roth deserved better than he got as Superman.
He got better. He got better with Crisis on Infinite Earths on the TV show. He got his reprise.
He did, and he looked better in the game than he did in the movie as well in 2006. And if you look at the Spider-Man series games that were out, it's very similar kind of game mechanics to it. But it was the first time he could really properly fly in a one that looked better than Superman 64.
Just floating through the air.
And even at that, when you went up and did your whole pose in the air for a little bit, in the sunlight behind you, you looked down, the city just looked like cardboard boxes. That's how detailed it was. It was just like grey squares, and that was your city. But I absolutely loved that game.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
But at day one.
There we go. Early adopter for new tech. I'm the same as Reese. Arkham Asylum for me is probably my best memory of a DC game of recent years. I think mainly because that's the one that kind of started it all. Like the games we're going to talk about today, like the new ones, wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for Asylum. And I think everything that game did regarding kind of the combat, the detectiveness, the gritty kind of storyline, everything about it, I absolutely loved. I'll always have a special place in my heart. I agree with Greg in the fact that City expanded. I just much prefer Asylum as its actual gameplay.
I'm gonna a quick shout out to second one. This was a game I don't think many people played, and it wasn't great. Get me wrong, it wasn't great, but I plugged in so many hours to it. It was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh, absolutely.
I plugged in like hundreds of hours into that to try and get achievements and whatnot on those. It was so difficult, but it was the first time you could actually see Superman beat up Sub-Zero and do fatalities, that sort of aspect. That was cool. Obviously,
the gruesome element of it.
Mortal Kombat now do stuff like that with guests and DLC, but at the time that was one of my favorites, to be honest.
I have a little bit of like a side shout out. Did anyone ever play Gotham City Imposters?
No.
It was like an MMO online where you played a villain or a hero, but you were kind of someone that dressed up. You were like vigilantes, but you either chose to be a hero or a villain. And it was basically a faction-based MMO. It wasn't the greatest of gameplay in the world, but the bit that I did play of it, I did kind of enjoy, to be fair. But if no one else played it, then there's no point talking about it.
That's your side shout out. I kind of enjoyed it.
But
it was something so different. I think it was something that people wanted to do. They wanted to play as a villain in a Batman universe, but they couldn't just make a villain game, so they kind of made this MMO that you could choose which side you want to be on. You could either fight crime or you could cause that crime, which I think was really cool. It wasn't the best graphically looking game in the world, but I still really enjoyed playing it.
You sold it
out.
Dave remembers it. It's not just me. I didn't make it up, I promise. But so they're our favorite from the past. But we also have the brand new game. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play the trailer while we're talking. I've kind of reduced the volume down. And I want to have a first look at Gotham Knights to see what, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, it will be on screen. But yeah, I want to kind of know your guys' thoughts around kind of Gotham Knight. So let me add this in, press play on this, and just kind of get an understanding of kind of what you guys kind of thought of the trailer, what really kind of drew you into it or anything like that.
Rob Pattinson drew me into it.
I love things when it started. Obviously, I've seen this trailer many a time, but Gotham Knights, right? With Batman being dead as all companies, and I'm like, even though I've read the comics, I've watched the TV shows, I've watched all that. When it's him talking to them like I'm dead, I'm like, oh my god, he's dead.
No, Bruce, no.
But do you actually think he is dead? Do you think they've actually killed it off, or do you think he'll make an appearance in the game, or?
There's some subtle. I have a theory. I think that the whole point is that this world is based around them being villains now. That they have been, since Gordon has died, they've been pushed out. They're not respected by the PD anymore. They're outlaws completely, nearly. And I think this was a way to reverse how they're viewed, because it says from villains to vigilantes to heroes to knights in the trailer. And I think it's that journey bringing them back to being the good guys again.
That bit's interesting. That Barbara is, you can see her wheelchair, but she's not in her wheelchair. So I want to know why.
She is back, girl, in this.
Yeah, so it's interesting. And normally it would be either before or after she was shot in the back. But anyway, happy she's there.
Yeah,
I think as well. I think just on what you're saying there, Tom, about Batman being in the game. Personally, I don't think he should, because there's still players that don't know about anyone other than Robin.
Correct.
So they're seeing other guys and they're like, well, who's this?
Who are these people? Yeah.
Yeah, who are these people? So
people don't even know any more than Dick Grayson, Robin, let alone the other Robins.
Yeah. They don't need to know the other Robins. Dick Grayson, the boy.
Boy.
So the characters they have revealed in this are Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hoods. Are you happy with those kind of selection of characters? Would you have liked to see anybody else involved? Are you hoping for any cameos, maybe NPC players or NPC characters, I should say?
I think there will be more, because one of the big things with this is obviously just the open world mechanic, but there's this piece about you basically explore the city and you drop in on crime as and when it happens. So there's other stuff going on. I love that, by the way.
So majestic in there.
So cool. We should steal it. But yeah, I like the fact that I think there's a lot more in this. I think there'll be a lot more villains in this. You've obviously get a glimpse of Mr. Freeze. There's a bit at the end around the Court of Owls, which is hinted at. So I think there's a bigger strings being pulled here. And if it's Court of Owls, they're very much at the top of the tree. And that's why I don't think Batman is dead. Bruce Wayne is dead. They make it very clear at the start. Bruce Wayne has died.
Yeah, because
the world doesn't know Bruce Wayne is Batman, though.
Correct. But some people might.
True.
Yeah, I don't know if because of the age of Robin in this one being Tim, I don't know if the other ones would make an appearance. So, e.g., Damian Wayne being Bruce's son. I would have liked that. Maybe some DLC. In other games, he's been there, and he's one of the later Robins that are more edgy and has more abilities to play with. So I'd like that. But I'm a Dick Grayson fan, so I'm always want to be Nightwing in that sort of aspect.
Do you think after nearly 90 years they might clock on that Bruce Wayne's Batman?
How stupid are these people in Gotham that they can't quite realize that they've never been in the same room together?
No, never been in the same room.
Hang on.
Bruce Wayne's Batman. What?
Like dark tan, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah. Why are you pale this part and you've got a lovely tan here? What's going on with your face?
It's just constant fake tan.
There it is.
Try and match it all up.
I love this. I love that.
Yeah, it's not been done. It's been hinting at the Arkham games with some other more Easter egg aspects when you're playing those games. All three of the Arkham series for that one. All four, actually, if you take Origins into account. But yeah, this is interesting because it's the underground Gothamites, essentially, with the Court of Owls, which is cool. It's a pity. The pity here is that it's not against Batman yet. It's against those four, and that's where I'm sure something will be quite cool for that.
So. Yeah, there's an interesting piece for this. But we was having Tom were talking about this before we came on, and it's the second reveal, potentially the second reveal of the Court of Owls in DC Fandome, because in the Robert Pattinson Batman, when he is going up in the escalator, someone freeze framed it, and there's an image of a face looking up at him that appears to be wearing a Court of Owls mask in that as well. So you're getting possibly two Court of Owls stories, gaming.
They're good storylines. So I think the graphics, by the way, because some of it was intermingled with some gameplay there, like some of the zip lining, and there is another trailer, but for the gameplay. But it looks, I mean, it's good. I think the co-op aspect will be cool in Arkham City, or no, Arkham Knight. You could do co-op takedowns or co-takedowns, not technically co-op. So that'll be able to experience, and that's cool there. So I think those 4 characters are enough for now. Those are the main hitters, really. If you're looking at that, you've technically got 3 Robins in that, right? Because they've all moved on.
You've got Tim Drake, you've got Dick Grayson,
and Jason Todd.
And Jason Todd, yeah.
So you got 3 Robins in the back, girl. That's more than, I don't know why I've asked for Damian Wayne. It's more than enough.
That's why I kind of was asking as one of the quick fire questions is, do you prefer to play solo or co-op? Like, do you see this as a game that you may play co-op with? Because it is going to be online co-op. It's not couch co-op. So do you feel like you and maybe another DC fan would like kind of partner up and play through it? Or do you think it's just going to be, you know what, I just want to experience this story and just go for it by myself?
If someone's around, I definitely would. And as long as they don't pick the character I want, then yes.
So there's a prerequisite to playing games with Greg.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Greg wants to be Nightwing. Leave him alone. Let him be Dick Grayson. Let me happy. There's another piece I thought was interesting as well is they've lined up 4 characters. So you've Barbara Gordon, Batman. You've got Dick Grayson, Nightwing, Tim Drake, Robin, and then you've got Jason Todd, Red Hood. But Red Hood has never been part of the group, and Red Hood has never been really a good guy because he disagrees with Batman's take on killing people. He believes if they need to be killed, they need to be killed. And that's the end of it. You get rid of them. So he's the more unpredictable element in the group, where the trailer gives you the impression he's being depicted as one of the good guy group, where you never really know what Jason.
Never really know. And I think it's for people that do know that kind of storyline and that basis, it actually might tie them into wanting to play it a little bit more, because they can actually then understand that, get that story to develop and understand that relationship and between the 4 of them. And what I'd be really interested in, though, I don't know if it's been confirmed or I've missed it, is can you naturally swap between the characters as you wish, or do you pick one character and play as that character? That's something I'm not sure on. And would you rather just pick one character, or would you like to be able to jump between the 2? Or if you do only pick one, do you want a separate kind of story arcs? So you have to play it 4 times to get the complete story.
I want separate story arcs, because it shouldn't just be me telling them what to do, developers. It shouldn't just be like, okay, I can do everything the same as Barbara Gordon instead of Tim Drake instead. I'd want, because with the set of skills, with the background, tackling it, I'd want them to put in, if I wanted to be Tim in that bit, maybe I can solve the crimes more. He's more of the detective. Whereas if I'm in a Red Hood, I'm going in with 2 guns straight on the back, and I'm firing through. And that would make it a better dynamic, or a good dynamic for co-op. So
seeing as we're telling developers what they should do, by not telling them what they should do, then telling them what they should do. I'd like to do all 4 stories to a certain point. So all 4 story arcs lead to a point, but they're different. Yeah. And then when you get to that point, you have that 4-person option to take on the big bad. But you can then switch between the 4 of them. But you've developed each story up to that point.
Yeah, what I would tell developers what to do, I basically want the TV show Lost, but with them the characters on it. I want facts. I want it all.
You want the first 2 seasons and the ending of the last season and nothing in between.
All 6 seasons, but with the bat logo on it. That's what I want. Tell them that from me. I sound like drunken. Tell them that from me.
We shall have to wait and see, Greg. You never know. They may be listening. Find them.
I'll find them.
I'll find them.
I'll find them. So that was for the first game, Batman Gotham Knights. I think it's, as I said, we haven't got a huge amount of information at the moment. They have released a 7-minute gameplay trailer as well. So if you've yet to see that, take a look at that, see what you think to the gameplay. It is very Batman Arkham combat, which is not a bad thing. It's same developers, all of those bits and pieces. So I'm glad that's kind of making a comeback. and we're seeing something kind of in that universe as well, which is awesome. But we also saw another game announced, which was this one, which is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
This would have been quite good to have Steve and Fletch on this, just because the Australian accent I think is really good, but I don't know if it is.
We need to get them back on. Is it good? Is it not? I don't know. I'll just phone up my sister. She lives out there and has a pretty strong Australian accent now. Just going, listen to this. Is it good?
I think it's good, and I know nothing about the Australian accent except from what I heard, but it sounded pretty good to me.
Never been there, but as a pro, definitely.
What's an Australian?
What's an Australian?
What's an Australian?
But what I quite kind of like about Suicide Squad is from the trailer, you kind of get that humor from it, like straight from the start. It's all going on, but here you have Harley Quinn mucking around, playing basically dolls with her hands, and then it kind of introduces all the characters.
The target's being lost, but it's the pizza's her target.
To be honest, pizza's important. Pizza's important.
It is.
Yeah, loving the bits of any of the apocalyptic scenes with Brainiac trying to take over the Earth and shrink it or whatever he's trying to do this time. Always good. So I think it frames it pretty well. I'm never like straight away with the Suicide Squad because I'm like abilities is not as good as the hero's abilities, but as we're going to see in a minute, I'm pretty happy with what they've done with Captain Boomerang, to be honest, since he's generally a laughing stock of the community.
It kind of is, because the bit at the end of this trailer where he comes in and is like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you just missed all of this that just happened.
This was a challenge, though, I think, because we've obviously had the films and they're fine, but they weren't as kind of like goofy as this looks. So I think they had to completely rebrand this, and try and sell it again. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
I like the fact that we're getting the same Harley voice that we've had in the Arkham games.
Yeah, it's Tara Strong, isn't it? Still voicing. She's done really good. Although, quick shout out to Penny from The Big Bang Theory. For anybody who's watched the Harley Quinn TV show, that's a cartoon. That's amazing. So there you go.
Should give that a watch. Haven't seen that.
Very adult. What else is happening in this that I really liked on that bit? King Shark looks good. I'm a big fan of the Flash TV show, and they did a really good job of him there. Quite like the animation here for that one.
I think this is, as it will show at the end of the trailer, this is a 2022 release, so this is 100% next gen, and I kind of gonna hope that these type of graphics we're seeing here are almost going to translate into gameplay, because we are going to have next generation consoles, like Xbox Series X, the fastest, most powerful console that's going to be out when it releases. Are we going to be able to see this kind of graphical fidelity in a video game that isn't a cutscene, that isn't CGI, that is purely gameplay? So I'd be really, really interested.
As we said, the Captain Boomerang thing, that's different. I like the way he can throw his boomerang and he goes to the boomerang instead of the boomerang coming back to him, as some kind of alluding to the Flash. There he is. There's the boy.
Yeah, I will find him. Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh,
I was at the wrong time, though. Tom's in that son. Just me and you, Greg. Hang on.
Is a signal going, or the internet?
Oh, I think we crashed.
Or let's see if everyone's back.
Everyone's back. Right,
Hopefully.
Tom.
I've still got Reese and Greg might have unfrozen now.
Hey.
There we are. Hello.
There we go.
Do you want to do that last bit again there, Tom?
Go back.
Still a bit pixely. Oh, we've lost Greg.
Greg will come back.
That's okay. Maybe it was the game. Maybe it was the game that attacked your PC.
Maybe, even though it's just a video.
Soup's coming out of the video.
This is what he said about him.
That's right. He's like, I'm going to get him.
Let me just add. There we go.
I'm back.
The mighty Superman.
The mighty Superman has just rescued that pilot. So I don't necessarily follow the Suicide Squad storyline or anything that side of it. So the fact that the Justice League are kind of being mind controlled, is that part of that universe? Is that kind of canon in that universe, or is this something they've added new to it?
It's happened before, but I don't think. I mean, it probably has happened in the comics and stuff, but it's not a regular beat of the Suicide Squad have to go and get the Justice League. It will just be another thing. But they were always set up by Amanda Waller, the commander of it all, to protect Earth in case the Justice League went rogue. It's the government's version of it. The fail-safe.
Okay.
They were literally a kill switch. They were a worst case scenario kill switch if it was ever needed. So if all the good stuff failed, they had disposable people they could just throw in and not really care about.
Okay.
What's interesting about that as well is there's been several iterations of different characters within Justice League being mind controlled at turns. Like Greg mentioned Hush earlier on, and in Hush, Superman is controlled by Ivy at one point. So there's lots of different examples of when Superman's been turned. And then you think, well, what do we do now? So Batman comes out of the building with the kryptonite ring and
I'm really hoping though, because of I don't know, it's like 2022, right, Tom? I'm really hoping that trailer there isn't the end boss, because I don't want, not that I have anything against Superman. He's my boy as well. He's my boy. Kal-El. Shout out to Kal-El of Krypton. But I don't want that to be the last boss because Superman's all powerful. I wouldn't mind if that's the first boss. And once you defeat Superman, you're like, wow, if we defeated Superman, we must be the best ever. And then trying to defeat Batman, Martian Manhunter, any of them, that would be wicked. Or some other characters from the Justice League that are lesser known, maybe.
Dave Atkins there, by the way.
Dave makes a really good point, as you can see on screen. Like, he's not overly liking the plot, far too similar to the setup of Injustice. Supes gets mind controlled and kills Lois Lane by accident and then becomes evil. Only this time we were doing kind of the whole of the Justice League. It'll be really interesting to see if they do kind of change it. This is just a teaser. We're at least 2 years out from this. There's plenty of opportunity to kind of see more of the story and how that's going to change. Is it just the fact that you're playing as these four characters make it different? Like in this, it's the same story, but different viewpoint?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would. I was going to say as well, I think it'd be really cool if Superman is the final villain, then because he's so powerful, it would be cool that if there's like a lot of strategy in order to defeat him. So you can't go in guns blazing as Harley Quinn and trying to attack him with a baseball bat. Like, you've got to find a certain weapon, or you've got to find a certain skill set for each of these characters to stand the chance against him.
That's a good shout. I wouldn't mind it being kind of like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where it's somebody going, Superman is trying to follow you for all the game, and then you're picking things up along the way. So that'd be cool.
We should still be able to hear Reese, I hope. His video might have just turned off.
Come here. There we go.
There we go.
There's another piece as well, because this, to Dave Atkins' point as well, this is kind of what they've leaned to in the Justice League movie, the Snyder Cut as well, was the fact that you've seen the dream sequence in Batman v Superman, where it's like this, you've all the parademons wearing the Superman icon on their shoulder, and that's supposed to be that whole flashback scene where Flash is talking to Bruce in his sleep, and it's like, am I too soon kind of thing. Is Lois was the key. Superman accidentally kills Lois and then goes nutso. It's the catalyst to Batman Superman. Oh, sorry, bad Superman. So it's essentially the same. If that is the same story, it would be, to your point, Tom, great to see a different perspective of it. That would make it slightly more original.
Yeah, it's got a wave of Suicide Squad stuff as well, isn't it? Like with the new movie by James Gunn and all that. So there's going to be a new wave of it as a franchise, which I'm sure will go better under his watch.
And I think by having that movie as well, I'm assuming is releasing before the game. I don't remember a release date for the film. Is that we are going to get to know those characters better before the game comes out. Like, I didn't have a clue who Captain Boomerang was and the shark person. I'm a bad DC fan. Like, I knew who Harley Quinn was. I knew who Deadshot is. But I didn't know the others. So I think the film for me will make me understand and get to know who those characters are. Well, so then hopefully I can enjoy them in the game.
James Gunn version is putting them all in. You've even got the ones that are as minor as Polka Dot Man is in there, and like the really badly named characters, like I dialed this one in. Polka Dot Man. Why? Because he's a man who wears polka dots.
Yeah, and why not? With the Suicide Squad, a lot of them are going to be dying. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's a fair point.
All these dots on it. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Something to aim at.
So that'd be cool. Yeah,
What's cool about Suicide Squad as well is that it is online co-op as well, so you can play with 4 players online. You each take control of a character. Obviously, Greg gets first pick of the characters.
Nightwing's not in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
I have seen him with ponytail, so maybe he's Harley Quinn.
all right. Okay, Mr. J.
Mr. J.
So what's quite cool is if you are playing solo, you can jump between all of the characters. That has been confirmed that you can kind of switch between the characters. However, if you're playing from 2 to 4 people total, you each have your own character that you solely control. And that's what I kind of like, is you then become attached to that character and you kind of develop through that story arc with that character. So to Greg's point earlier about wanting to only play as one person, is you'll play as your kind of favorite character, or if you can't play as your favorite character, you'll grow to understand and actually enjoy playing that character, which I think is quite kind of cool.
Potential worry here. Are Rocksteady making both these games? I know they're making Suicide Squad.
Yeah, no, they're not. It's not Rocksteady that's making Gotham Knights. It's
Gotham Knight.
It's whoever made Arkham Origins is making Gotham Knights.
Right, so it's not Rocksteady. Okay. The reason I was saying that was because you could essentially have 2 games that are 4-character games that could be the exact same format.
Yeah, style.
Yeah, potentially.
That could be the worry. That's just, jumping the gun over a year and a half.
What world we live in, if that's our worry? That's not bad, is it?
I know, right?
It's not a bad worry to have. No, very true.
Exact same great game choice with loads of different character choices.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to go back through the trailer to see if it shows who the developer is.
That's the thing. Then on my worries of it is the universes. I'm all about shared universe. People know I love the shared universe, but the Gotham Knights is not from the Arkham universe in the sense of that exact timeline.
No, it's a different timeline.
Even though it begins the same way Arkham Knight ended, which is weird, because with Batman blowing up and dying potentially. But this one is said that it is. So the Suicide Squad is meant to be in the Arkham timeline, like the proper one. But the only thing that was shouted out, and I didn't catch this, it was something on YouTube, was that Deadshot has changed race. So if it's on that continuity, they've completely changed Deadshot, which is fine. But
going to movies.
Yeah, so it's just weird they've done that. And
I think you're right though, because there's a shout out, there's a point made by Bruce in Gotham Knight where he says, "I've left you the Belfry. The kit there is out of date, but it's all there, including my files." The Belfry was developed from the old Wayne Tower by Tim Drake. But Tim Drake's too young in this one to be the architect, Tim Drake. So it's a different timeline.
Yeah, no, and they've confirmed that it's not following on for that. I find it a very weird decision that they've done.
Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say it at the start, Greg? I wouldn't have gone through the whole thing of saying that. I could have saved at least 17 words there.
Time.
Yeah,
but yeah, Greg. My word count's gone.
Follow on from that one, which was the same premise. They could have just done that, but it's probably because of the developers, so they may technically not have been able to, but still wanted to go in that direction. So either way, I'm playing both of them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're going to play them all. So, and at least they're going to be a year apart from each other as well. So we're going to have plenty of time to be able to play through amongst all these other next generation games that are probably going to get announced in the next couple of months. But we shall have to wait and see. But yeah, generally, guys, you looking forward to it? You happy with the announcements that you kind of seen so far?
Yeah, strong announcements for Fandome, because there was so much other stuff going on with them as well. Game wise, we were due another Batman oriented game for ages. There hasn't been one for. I think the last ones I really played was the Telltale series, which are great. But they were the last ones from Arkham Knight that came after. So no, I'm excited. More excited about Gotham Knights than I am for Suicide Squad. That's probably because I like the characters more, and I want to be a bit more heroic than I want to be a shark.
Yeah.
Dave Atkins, yes, Tara Strong is voicing Harley Quinn.
I thought I heard it.
I think this is an important time for DC because they've always got that competition with Marvel, haven't they? So it's Marvel and DC in the cinematic universe. Admittedly, I think Marvel is probably, arguably, they might
not even arguably.
In
terms of structure, they've done a lot better. But their gaming side of things, it's a different world where they've managed to put out some amazing titles.
They've been really good.
Animation, they've done.
that's where they kind of sit really well. So it's really cool now to see a lot of their titles like Suicide Squad kind of mixing in with their movies. So they're kind of coming out similar times, because you're going to start to get fan bases come and cross different paths. So
great show.
Really important time for DC.
Really. I think Fandom landed perfectly for DC. Yeah. They've managed to get the game, as you said, their games have always been great. Like they've never dropped the ball when it came to any of the games they've made. Well, recently anyway. Movie wise, they have done big time. They've rushed to get to certain points, and it's damaged the franchises. But if you look at from Fandom's point of view, you've got a Snyder cut of the Justice League, which is already, just from this scene shown, had got huge amount of fans invested in it. You've then got Robert Pattinson's Batman, just to get that point across again, which looks, and I was very skeptical about him until I saw the last 20 seconds of it. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then you've got the games announced after, and you're going, holy crap, there's a huge lump of everything in here from a DC perspective that's been viewed by the general public as positive. Yeah. And it's a long time since DC have been able to say that all their announcements have landed really well. So I think if you're a DC fan, this is a really exciting time over the next 2 years, because you're and a new Flashpoint movie, Flashpoint finally, and Michael Keaton's reprising Batman. Not related, but yes. And Affleck gets a chance to come back and finish properly. Justice for Affleck. # justice for Affleck. But yeah, I think it's a really exciting time for DC. I think they've nailed it. I think the DC Fandome was an absolute home run in terms of all of their content across it, and both these games look sick.
Yep, I agree with all the below points. Like, I'm super excited. I can't wait to play them. It's going to be interesting to see how I get more involved in the DC universe. Like, I've watched all the Batman films. I've played all the Batman games. But I probably say I know more about the Marvel universe than I do the DC universe. So I'm looking forward to that developing and getting to understand these characters and these story arcs a lot more with all these films that have been announced and all these both these games we've spoken about today. So it's as Reese said, it's an important time for DC. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing where it goes. Amazing. Well, guys, I think it is about time. We're 53 minutes in, which is getting very close to our top ends.
To emails, Tom.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So I am going to tie it up here. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has joined us in chat, who's joined us live. Thank you very much for participating, giving us your points of views and your thoughts. If you are watching this on our video on demand, all of our Instagram handles are in our little windows, apart from Jers, because he's decided to change his. But yeah, feel free to follow us over on our Instagram pages and let us know your thoughts on the DC universe. That would be awesome. But to Greg, to Reese, and to Jer, I want to say a huge thank you for joining me today. I know you guys are big fans of the DC world, so I think it was really important that you guys kind of jump in and share your thoughts. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Greg, stop flashing us.
Never. I won't find him.
I won't find him.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to finish with our schedule. So yeah, if you do want to know what else we do on a weekly basis, make sure you take a note of the schedule. And until next week, we shall see you then. Cheers, guys. Bye.